1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star, 5 star general. 5 star general. Go hard, grind hard, born hard, bred hard. 5 star general. 5 star general. 1 star.
What's up, y'all? Now, I may not know shit about the music industry, but I do know about prison, and I know the cops and the foul, crooked shit that they do. And this is just speculation based on that fact, but and trust me, I'll be the first one to admit that I was wrong and to make an apology video if I am wrong. But I think that they put 6ix9ine in Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center because they wanted to scare him. They had him in general population. They wanted to scare him into telling. And when he finally agreed to cooperate, he was moved to a safe facility. And this facility that he was moved to is known for housing cooperators, informants. So this is where he was moved. Um, Contrary to popular belief, racketeering isn't just for the mafia. I've seen it used to prosecute street gangs like the Bloods and Latin Kings in the past. It's such a dirty tactic because the feds can charge you with somebody else's bullshit just because you're in the same gang. For example, an acquaintance of mine was a Latin King and he was indicted on a RICO case. And when he received his discovery, there were murders and drug transactions made by other Latin Kings that he didn't even know personally. But since they were all kings, they were all charged under this indictment. So people he didn't even know were killing other people, and he was charged with it. And this is slightly off the subject, but this same guy, he had other people testifying against him that had no actual knowledge of any crimes, but actually paid for information that they could take to a federal prosecutor and act like they knew shit, which they really didn't. And these ratatouilles, they were doing it all over the jail. They were telling people in the feds with them that were facing serious tick that they could help them with their case. And what they would do is they would say, listen, go to your people and get your people to send my people 10 grand, 20 grand, or whatever it is. And they would give them all this information on other people who are fighting other cases, times, names, dates, and all this stuff that they can take to the federal prosecutor and make a deal. And basically, they were selling indictments. That's the type of shit that's going on in the feds right now. It's like real brazen shit, and that might be a little bit off topic, but not so much since I believe that's what we're dealing with right here in this case. I mean, I think that little altercation that Elliot Grange and his security had with Shotty and his people, I think Elliot after that told Tekashi, look, man, you got to cut this dude off. Like, he's too much of a liability. And he did it. I mean, it's kind of like a Leor Cohen, Jay-Z, Dame Dash thing. Like, but, I mean, in this case, like, I think Shotty helped create 6ix9ine. I think he helped make him. I think a lot of the respect that he got in the streets was because of Shotty. It wasn't off his own back. So I think Shotty feels he's entitled to some of that, and is only right. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm looking at it from too much from his perspective, but I mean, and I like the little kid. I mean, I like the young guy, man. I wanted to go a little bit into the explanation of racketeering because I've heard so many people asking about racketeering and what it's for. And well, a racket is a planned and organized criminal act, usually in which the criminal act is a form of business or a way to earn illegal or extorted money. Now, the thing about the racketeering is that it's done repeatedly. It's not done just once or twice. It's done on a continuous basis. That's what makes it a racket, or makes it racketeering. Um, a racket is often a repeated or continuous criminal operation. Originally, and is often still specifically a racket, was a criminal act in which the perpetrator or perpetrators offer a service that is fraudulently offered to solve a non-existent problem. For example, protection money, when really the only person you're protecting them from is you and your team. Um, Conducting a racket is racketeering. Most common is a protection racket. Like I just said, it promises to protect the target business or person from dangerous people in the neighborhood and then collects money or causes damage to the business until the owner pays. The racket is both problem and solution, and it is used as a method of extortion. The term racket has expanded in definition and may be used less strictly to refer to any illegal organized crime, which street gangs are a part of, and including those that don't necessarily involve fraudulent practices. For example, a numbers racket or a drug racket or a prostitution racket, neither of which involve fraud or deception with regard to the intended clientele. The examples of crimes that may be alleged to be part of a pattern of racketeering include protection racket, fencing racket, numbers racket, money laundering, and other creative accounting practices that are misused in ways to disguise sources of illegal funds, theft operations including burglary, home invasion, robbery, identity theft, auto theft, art theft, carjacking, truck hijacking, organized retail crime, shoplifting, and copyright infringement, including the sale of counterfeit goods, fraud and embezzlement operations, including credit card fraud, check fraud, healthcare fraud, insurance fraud, mail fraud, wire fraud, securities fraud, bank fraud, mortgage fraud, skimming fraud, electoral fraud, confidence tricks, bid rigging, kidnapping, murder, murder for hire, bribery, police corruption, organized academic dishonesty, loan sharking, computer crimes, drug trafficking, arms trafficking, extortion, prostitution, commercial exploitation of children, human trafficking, people smuggling, tax evasion and cigarette smuggling, witness tampering and intimidation, skimming, casinos, uh, operating chop shops, illegal gambling or bookmaking, including match fixing, criminal operations of otherwise ostensibly legal operations such as strip clubs, casinos, waste management firms, poaching, overfishing, illegal logging, illegal construction, and illegal mining, dog fighting, cockfighting, bullfighting. Like all of this shit can be construed as racketeering, but the thing is it has to be done in an organized way and over a period of time. RICO was the Racketeer Influence Corrupt Organizations Act, and it came into law October 15th, 1970. It allowed law enforcement to charge a person or group of people with racketeering defined as committing multiple violations of certain varieties within a 10-year period. The purpose was elimination of the infiltration of organized crime and racketeering into legitimate organizations operating in interstate commerce. Now, this is important because I think the feds were looking at it like the Bloods were infiltrating the music industry. And then you got a lot of little white kids paying attention to 6ix9ine, and he's getting rich off it, and he's promoting all this gang shit. And I think they weren't having it. But to do that and say that he was the fucking leader of this shit and to send this man to jail for life, I think is bullshit. I mean, I think he was a dickhead. I think there was a lot of shit. A lot of people told him, and he should have chilled. But he's a fucking kid. I mean, I almost spent my life in jail. You know what I mean? Luckily, you know what I mean? I learned from my mistakes, and I came out, and I slowed down. But this kid, man, like, he has a lot going for him. I mean, I really hope I'm wrong. Like I said, I liked him. He's Rican and Mexican just like me. My mom Mexican, dad's Rican. I like that he was a young kid. He was a hustler, and he was a hell of a marketer. Well, he is a hell of a marketer. Let me talk about him like he's dead. I think he did a lot of fuck shit because he's young. And I did too when I was his age. That's why like all these old motherfuckers are throwing stones like they never lived in a glass house. And I can't stand someone who does that. But I also can't stand someone who has no problems doing the shit when it comes time. But then when you gotta stand up and take your charge, you wanna bring the next man down with you. Or bring the next man down without you. Like, that's fucking crazy to me, and I can't support that. So hopefully I'm wrong, but I think the young boy turned into a rat. Uh, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you think he has a career after he gets out, if he tells. Also, support 5stargenerals.com for dope tees, hoodies, sweatsuits. Dope sweatsuits out, and I stand on that. Peace and blessings to all, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace.